So I've been trying to get this vet running all day, and I keep hearing these strange noises in my driveway and some weird creatures over here. What's... Ooh, dinner. That's some pork and a half. Come on, boy. Daddy wants to say hello. Come here. I got the barbecue on. You're invited to dinner. We're at our garage and test facility to see what we're rolling out today. Looks like they gave us a 2018 Toyota Prius with a nice bright red paint job. Nice looking wheels too, in my humble opinion. Nice looking rig from the rear as well. And the hybrid logo, so everybody will know you're trying to save the planet. The base price of a Prius runs around $24,000. This was the upgraded touring model, although it doesn't say so on the outside. No emblems to let you know that. But you'll know it when you see the price sticker. Here's the starting price of the touring model. Here's the standard equipment. And the options that jack up the price, as always. And the total tab for this one. I've been driving these Prius models since the first day they came out. There's some things I like about the Prius and things I don't like about the Prius, and I'm going to cover the things I don't like first, just to get it out of the way. First of all, when you start the Prius, you're welcome with this little chime. Every time you start it. I really don't want to hear this. But that's not all. Turn it off. You get it again. Someone told me that if you read the owner's manual, there's a way to disconnect this racket, but I really don't want to read 20,000 pages of manuals here to do that. So I'll just have to live with it for a while. Number two, this glove box is extremely small. If you stick the owner's manual in here, you'll have no room for anything else. The only other storage option is in between the seats, this tiny console. It'll have to do. Number three, the tilt wheel has two positions, too low and way too low. You think after all the years they've been making this, they could expand this a little, but not to be. Number four, we have this big screen on the dash here, like we get on some of the Volvos and Teslas, and it looks good. Definitely great for navigation, I'll give them credit for that. It's got a big map here. When it comes to operating the climate control, it's a different story. I got in this vehicle the other day after sitting in the sun. I was scouring to find the air conditioning controls, and you have to go through a procedure here. That's assuming the sun doesn't block out what you're seeing, as it's doing here. First, you have to set the temperature, then you have to press this, then you have to fiddle with this. It's easy to do when you're sitting still, but when you're driving, you're not looking at the road. Same as texting and driving. You should be paying attention to the road instead of going through all this. With simple knobs, you don't have to look down. You simply touch with your hand, but we don't have that option here. I really don't care for this. Also on my list, you don't get a spare tire, just a cheesy inflator kit. If you get it flat on the freeway and you're in the middle of nowhere, this doesn't work very well, especially if you have a cut sidewall, it doesn't work. I was kind of puzzled though, they did give us a jack to change a spare tire. Very few hybrids get a spare tire. They do this to save weight. If you're taking an out-of-state trip, do yourself a favor, get a spare tire. And my last gripe, the dirt shelf. If you live where it rains a lot, all the mud's going to build up on here, get on your pants. You want to keep a rag around to wipe that off. Now, if you're a Prius lover and you're getting ready to get your pitchfork and noose to come tell me I hate the Prius and I'm saying nothing but bad things about it, that's not true. These are just things I don't like. A lot of Prius owners, these things don't bother them, and that's fine. And besides, we're going to cover the things I do like next, and there are plenty to look at. For starters, there's plenty of room in here, especially in the second row seating for 2 full-size adults. Great for long trips. And there is decent storage capacity in the back. I like the shifter location. It's up here on the dash, out of the way, instead of down here like conventional cars. Works pretty good. This Prius, and as far as I know, all our Priuses over here are made in Japan, not somewhere else. And that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the Toyota made somewhere else. But if I'm paying for a Japanese car, I want a Japanese car. When you buy a Prius hybrid, you're getting a Japanese car. That explains the excellent quality and workmanship on the outside, and even more so on the inside. And as we do in all my videos, we take the headlights out in the dark to see how they perform. Other YouTubers don't do that. That's why you need to watch my videos and not theirs. We'll do that right now. It's dark enough. Let's check out these headlights and see what they do. Look pretty bright. Here we have the low beams on a wall 100 feet away. Pretty bright. Height about average. Go to high beam. Looks bright to me. Now we'll go on to a longer distance. Here we have the headlights on the building 300 feet away. Light's certainly bright enough. Reaches out very well. Go low beam, reaches out around 260 feet. More than adequate for city traffic. I would say these headlights are pretty good. I certainly have no complaints. If you're watching this video, you might be interested in the fuel economy. That's what people buy these for. So let's look at the spec sheet first. With this tiny engine, all the batteries, motors, and whatnot, the hybrid system puts out 121 horsepower, pulling around 3,100 pounds of weight. Doesn't sound like much. However, it pulls pretty well, as we'll see once we start driving. Here's the official EPA, 54 city, 50 on the highway, 52 overall. Good mileage if you can get it. We're going to rack up around 450 miles to see if that's true. One of the biggest factors of fuel economy on a hybrid isn't necessarily your driving habits. It has more to do with outside temperature, because hybrids are very sensitive to the temperature they operate at. As a rule, the cooler the better, the hotter the worse it is. Most of the hybrids I get are delivered during the month of August or July, where the outside temperatures in the desert here are like 110, 120 degrees. In that environment, I get around 36 in the city, around 42 on the highway, and average around 38. Fortunately, I got this in November, around Thanksgiving time. All week, the temperature is going to be ranging between 56 degrees and 78 degrees. Ideal operating temperature for a Prius or any other hybrid. I think we might see some impressive MPG figures on the computer. So let's start driving and see what happens. By the way, a lot of YouTube testers baby their Prius vehicles, driving way under the speed limit to artificially inflate the MPG figures. We don't do that here. We drive normally. If the speed limit's 75, we do 75. If we need to pass somebody, we pass somebody. Normal driving, normal mode, no economy mode, just normal everyday driving. Realistic figures we're getting here. For those interested, there are 3 drive modes available. Pressing this button. You have normal, which is what we'll be using. Power mode, very rarely using. Eco mode, we're not going to be using, but you have your choice. Just press the magic button. The power mode comes in handy if you're climbing steep hills. It also comes in handy if you're doing a 0 to 60 time like we are here. There we go. This vehicle isn't that quick, but the battery system provides lots of torque. When you're scooting around town, you still have plenty of power. I have no complaints. And the car is very quiet. And the brake's very nice. Toyota has done an excellent job of providing feel in this electric steering. Rather responsive. I don't think anyone's going to complain. I'm not. The Prius has a low center of gravity, which allows it to take corners fairly well. in spite of the soft rubber on the tires. We're doing pretty good here. In fact, exceptional. I'm impressed. The ride quality of the Prius is very good on decent pavement, but the suspension travel is rather limited, so when you're going over potholes and speed bumps, especially nasty potholes like this, you're going to hear some noise. As we do in all my videos, we're going to take some speed bumps, see what the impacts are like. I'm going to keep the speed low on this vehicle, around 20 miles per hour. Not too bad. Here comes bump number 2. Number 3. And the big nasty one. Heard that one. Nothing serious. For the rest of this video, we're going to be doing strictly fuel economy driving. I'm going to rack up around 160 miles in city commuting with a little bit of expressway, see what we're going to get in realistic driving. That's coming up next, with a lot more to come. If you do a lot of city driving and some expressway, this is a very comfortable vehicle to drive, great for commuting. The battery system provides lots of bottom end torque for passing, more than you would expect, as we're doing here. Okay, for the past 2 days, I've racked up 162 miles in mixed commuting, mostly city, 49 mpg. Impresses me. More to come. We're going to reset the computer and take a long trip, around 250 miles if I get it right. So let's turn on the ignition. There you go. Waiting for that music. The speed limit on this freeway is 75 miles per hour. We will not be driving any slower in order to get the realistic fuel economy figures. Because of its aerodynamic shape, the wind noise is rather low when traveling at these speeds. And unless you're driving on rough pavement, the ride is rather smooth as well. We're climbing some steep grades here, but the battery system of the Prius provides lots of bottom end torque. Pulling this grade isn't really a problem. Alright, we climbed from an elevation of 1,000 feet to 5,000 feet. Steep grades. 38.8 mpg, not too bad. More to come as we continue on this trip. We're getting off the beaten path here. Lower speeds, better economy to go to our destination, which you will see what it is in a minute. There it is. If you don't know where it is, look it up on the internet. The world's most liveliest ghost town. I'm trying to get some gas, but nobody seems to be open at the moment. It says open 24 hours. Guess they're lying. The Motel 6 is up on the hill, but it looks like they're not open either. Good air conditioning though, huh? It's cruising night in Jerome, where all the hot vehicles come out. There you go. It's got some power. The town of Jerome has a modern system for generating electricity. There you go. Gas is cheap in Jerome. 61 cents for premium and 59 for regular. With prices like this, who needs a Prius hybrid? Give me a Hellcat. If you break down in Jerome, there's a towing service to come get your vehicle. It might take them a while to get there though. The work I set out to do in Jerome has been completed. We're going to go back to where we started on a return highway trip and see what type of fuel economy we got on this little journey. So don't go away. We're going to be going from an elevation of 5,000 feet to 1,000 feet, which should assist our fuel economy figures in the end. Okay, our trip is complete, 218.9 miles. That's about 80% freeway driving, about 10% backcountry driving, and 10% heavy city driving. So let's look at the figure. 46.2 mpg. And in 1 week of driving, we reached our target of 400 miles, 400.9 to be exact. Our economy for the entire week, 47.5 mpg. There you go. And I want to make clear this is realistic driving, none of this hyper-miling stuff where you drive 10 to 20 miles per hour under the speed limit, or driving the eco mode all the time, or turn off the air conditioning. None of that nonsense. Just simple, everyday driving. So these are our figures, and we're sticking to them. And since this figure, 47.5, is pretty close to the 52.0 claimed by the EPA sticker for mixed commuting, I'd say it's pretty close, and I'd also say I'm rather impressed. So what's my take on the Prius after a week of driving? Well, if you want a sophisticated car with good fuel economy and reliability, the Toyota Prius is certainly worth a look. This concludes our Prius test, so I'm going to leave you with a little bit of music. You know where it's coming from. I still can't turn this stuff off.